the title of my talk is, of course, real life IOTA deployments, because, like Dom said, there are not too many real life use cases, right? So I wanted to show a few of those in this talk. Um, now, can you put me full screen? Yes. So I'm going to talk about these use cases, and I'm going to try to inspire you guys a little bit. Because we have to do this now. Everybody is talking about blockchain in the future. And that's why I put this quote on the screen. If not us, who? And if not now, when? Right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a few of the use cases we already did. But let me first introduce myself a little bit. I'm from BlockchainLab Drenthe, as you already know. BlockchainLab Drenthe is a non-profit foundation with the goal to spread knowledge, experience, and insights in the field of distributed ledger technology. Now, we're a lab, but we're not doing things like this, right? And we're not wearing white coats. So we are experimenting with lots of distributed ledger technology. And IOTA, distributed ledgers in general, are a very important piece of that. It's not all we do, because we also teach at university. We also have monthly meetups and all kinds of other stuff, right? But what I'm going to talk about this afternoon is in this session is about the real life deployments where other people, tens of thousands of people, are already working with. Now, I told you I'm in the Netherlands, in the province of Drenthe. So you can see on the red dot where that is. It's one of the 12 provinces of the Netherlands, and I'm situated just on the border with Germany. A little bit about myself. I'm one of the three co-founders of BlockchainLab Drenthe. I'm a bit of a blockchain nerd, right? I don't have a band-aid on my glasses here, but it doesn't. Let's keep it at that. Blockchain nerd. I program myself, but I'm also a financial expert. I've been making software for the financial world more than 30 years. A bit of a veteran. And like I said, I'm trying to inspire you a little bit. As you can probably notice, I've been out of school a few years now, and when I was in school, nobody knew what blockchain was. Nobody could teach blockchain, so I had to learn this all by myself. And if I can do this, you can do this. So there are lots and lots of resources, so you can get to the same level as I, or surpass me. Please do. And my big inspiration for that on a daily basis is Mr. Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke was one of the, in my eyes, geniuses on this planet. He invented the communication satellite and lots of other things. And what he says in this quote is, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that's what I do every day, magic, right? This technology in general, but blockchain in particular, is unbelievably nice to work with. It has so much potential, and it will really change the world in my eyes. So I hope you will pick that up and get inspired by what I'm going to show you. Now, I mentioned it at the start also. Everybody is talking about, in the future, we are going to do this, and in the future, we're going to do that. And of course, you need to have a long time planning, right? But I got a little bit bored with that, right? I said, well, what can we build today with blockchain technology, right? And of course, you can talk a lot about blockchain. Of course, I also do that, right? And when I teach at university, I'm talking about it for weeks, right? But the most powerful thing you can do is show. give people a product in their hands, on their phones, which works with blockchain technology, and they will be amazed. Now, of course, this IOTA community is super nice, only great people, right? But there are more people outside of this community than in this community, right? There are millions of people, what, billions of people outside who never heard about IOTA, never heard about blockchain. And I even want to reach out to these people, right? So we make products, we make apps, we design systems which they can use, even without knowing anything about blockchain, even without having a MetaMask account, a wallet, etc. They will have IOTA inside without knowing it, but working with it. Now, um, like I said, this is the agenda. What I'm going to do with you, I'm going to show you what we did and why we did it, what we do, what we are working on today, the development. We do some and I'm going to tell you, because that's one of the uh, um, main segments in our work, what purpose-bound money is. Right? That plays a very big role in what we developed so far. Um, yeah, real-world deployment. Now, we have at this moment a little bit over 30,000 users, right? We developed EnergieKnip, and I will show you the different applications in a moment. We have EnergieKnip, which has nearly 10,000 users. We have the Vitality Knip with 1,000 users. We have the Parkstad Energy Knip with 20,000 users. And we have our self-sovereign attendancy app with more than 1,000 users. So all in all, it's adding up, but and it's gone way beyond the numbers you normally see with pilots. When you do a pilot in a project, there may be 100, 200, 300 users. Now with 30,000, we showed that it works. But still, and I'll talk about it in a moment, people still want to do their own pilot. People still need proof that it works, even if you have 30,000. So don't despair when somebody asks you for the proof. Now, why IOTA? Right? There are so many blockchain projects out there. Dom mentioned it already. Thousands, 10,000s of projects, and the one is not better than the other, and faster, and etc. Well, there were for us a few very simple considerations. Now, the projects we do are mostly in the field of sustainability, right? EnergieKnip, like I said, I'm going to show you in a moment, works with energy saving measures, distributing money and energy saving measures to people in homes. Now, um, you cannot use a Bitcoin kind of proof of work consensus system when you are telling people to use LED lighting and to save energy while you are burning electricity of the 22, 23 days of an average electricity consumption of an average home per transaction, right? That's not good. People might find out, people will find out, and you will get your pictures in the paper, but not in the way you would like to. So eco-friendliness, energy efficiency is a very important factor, right? And it takes away one of the biggest hurdles when I talk to customers in the governmental field, for instance. Right, when I give a presentation somewhere at a municipality or at a province or whatever, the first prejudice is, oh yeah, but blockchain uses that much amount of energy. We won't do that. Right? And then I say, well, not this one. We use less energy per transaction than a bank transaction. Right. So it's nice when you're thinking about Bitcoin, and you're right, but that's the steam engine of the distributed ledger technology age. And the first steam engines were not very energy efficient, and so is Bitcoin not energy efficient. But there is second and third generation blockchain chains which are. So that's the first thing I got out of the way. Then the second thing is, you can see it there, is fees. And we've seen it in the last week. Bitcoin transaction fees going up. That's something in a permissionless world where you don't have the control, right? So, and that's also, for instance, one of the reasons that e-voting on the change we know at the moment is a very big problem, because with every transaction you should have a fee, and if that fee is only a few cents, no problem. But if the fee goes up to 50, $60, then voting could be very costly. Having a chain, a system, a protocol which has zero fees, and when you are distributing subsidies, etc., is a very big plus. So um, combine that with a number of other factors is a very a big plus for our IOTA protocol choice. Don't get me wrong. In school at university, I also teach Ethereum and Bitcoin protocols, etc. But for the applications that I'm going to show you in a moment, there we used the IOTA based protocol. Okay. Um, our first application. We started a while ago developing applications within Interreg project Bling, and Bling stands for Blockchain in Government. Now, Bling is about 14 partners in 6 North Sea region countries, which are all working together on developing applications for public services based on blockchain. Now, when they have a conference or a meetup or whatever, they have these attendancy lists. You know them. I mean, those are the lists we all love to hate. You have to, let me see. I got a picture of that. Yeah, you have to write your name and give a signature and sometimes even an email address. These lists are illegal, right? Because of GDPR, they are not allowed anymore. Now, that was a small detail, because Interreg Project Bling is a European wide project, and even they were telling us that we should have an attendancy list. Now, I took this one, just Googled it from the internet, and I blurred out the names, because if you Google it, it'll show you the names of managers of UNHCR, UNDP, Bobo. So privacy is a big thing. So what we did is we designed a solution called the Self-Sovereign Attendancy app. You all know self-sovereign identity, which is a big, massive thing, a very broad spectrum. Um, Now, we just took a small part of that and looked at attendancy. You signing into a conference, you getting your proof that you were there, right? And so we designed this app. In this app, you can register a meeting, a conference, right? The organizer registers this conference on the Tangle, and by that he generates a secret, right? And at the conference, he shows that secret to the people who are attending. I could show you now at this moment a QR code, a secret for this conference. Now, only the people watching know that secret, right? And by using our app, scanning that QR code, you get the information from the Tangle with all details from the conference. And it says, would you like to put this conference in your wallet? Yes. And with that, it generates its own secret and sends it over to the organizer. Now, up to there, right? We could have done this with an NFT. I could have, as an organizer, generate an NFT, and everybody who's here gets one, and great. But in the case of Internet Project Bling, we needed an attendancy list. We need a list of people, quote unquote, because they have to be anonymized, GDPR, of how many people attended. And so we needed something extra. And that's why we designed this. So the app generates a special secret sends this over to the organizer, and after a while, after everybody registered, the organizer can close the door. It is a timely, it's expiring, so to speak, a timely limited. Now, by doing that, he writes the official attendancy list to the Tangle, right? Immutable, transparent. You know all about it. And then the attendee has all these conferences, all these meetings in his wallet, and can go to anybody who wants to see the tax office, his boss, etc. Show a QR code by scanning, taking the app and scanning the QR code. The tax office could say, "Well, show me if you were there." Now, the QR code will have the secret generated by the attendee and checks if that secret is on the list of the organizer for this meeting. Right. So there is an additional check to see if you are really the person that is on that list. The organizer cannot ever find you, find out who you are, but the attendee can 24/7 prove that they were there. Now, we can do that in physical meetings. We did large conferences. We put up a few QR codes on the wall. People could scan them, and that's it. We could do that online. I could generate a QR code online. And even if this video would be put on YouTube, there is an expiration on it. So if I, as an organizer, close the door and somebody on YouTube sees this QR code in 6 months, then they cannot join the list. It's impossible. So that's one of the security measures we did. There are many more, and we are also looking at using a Bluetooth signal instead of QR codes. Well, then you cannot use it on YouTube, for instance. But then people don't have to scan a QR code on screen or whatever. They can just open their phone, enable Bluetooth, and see on that which conference they are. Now that's one of the first things we did. The first applications we built on IOTA mainnet, and works like a charm. And at the moment, we are in the process of getting this officially approved within Interreg. So in the future, it's probably going to be that nobody in Interreg will have to use an attendancy list anymore because it's a hassle, right? At every meeting, you see these lists going around and everybody signing them. If only one of them makes a picture, all the data is in the streets. Okay, so these lists are probably going to be a part of history. You can find more information at this website, attendancy.app. And if you want a login for that to organize your own events, then just give me a call. I'll put my details on the last sheet. Now, the second thing we did, and it was already mentioned by Dom and in the intro also, was EnergieKnip. And EnergieKnip is a special app with which people can buy stuff, energy saving measures to lower their energy bills. And just for people, because I know that knip is hardly pronounceable for not Dutch people. A knip is what you see there, right? The wallet, and it's knip. It's really called a knip, but it's the sound that these two metal kissing buttons make when you open and close it. Knip, right? So it's another word for wallet. Now you see here, it's a very simple app. It only got a few buttons and big buttons because yeah, people from 8 to 88 had to work with them. We had all people who are, let's say, digitally challenged, work with it, and only 6 buttons was more than enough. Now, it was commissioned to us by the municipality of Emmen. They came to us and said, "Well, listen, we give out these vouchers for people to buy LED lighting and isolation foley for heat isolation, etc. But people are not using them really, right? There's a very low claim percentage on that. Can you help us with that?" Now, we had some design goals, so it had to distribute money. what they also said, we want to know more about what goes on behind the closed door of their house when it comes to energy, right? And think about it, right? And a municipality knows a lot about you. When they have your address, they know how many people live there, the value of your house, if you have pets, lots and lots and lots of things. But they don't know how you use your energy, and they would like to know to make better future policy, for instance. Now, that was one of the design goals. Also, can you help us with gathering information about how people use energy in their home? Um, the third point you see there is improve energy and awareness in residents. So we should not only ask them for information, we should also give some information on best practices, for instance. So we did that also, and they said, "Yeah, well, we're giving away this money to buy all this stuff, but we would like to have that money have impact on our local economy, right? Please prevent people going to Amazon.com or Zalando or whatever buying stuff. It was the Corona pandemic. This was already more than a year ago. Please help us to stimulate the local economy with that money. Okay, that was the package we had to work with. And please prioritize privacy because we were getting information from citizens. Make it easy to use, and I already spoke about that. Use an energy efficient blockchain. Well, that's why we use the IOTA protocol, and out came the EnergieKnip. Now, I already talked about GDPR. We looked at this problem and said we're gonna use privacy by design. Privacy by design is we do not ask for any information, right? The municipality was our biggest friend because they commissioned us to make this app. But like I said, they also were our biggest enemy because they know everything about citizens. And um, when citizens are giving them data, they even know more, right? So we designed a system where people are providing answers to questions about their energy behavior, for instance, but without compromising their privacy. And how we did it was like this: every citizen, every house in the municipality of Emmen got a card like this. Now, um, most of you know a bit about blockchain, so let's call this a physical airdrop. We did a physical airdrop of wallets, and they all had a unique QR code. Every house in the municipality, so nearly 50,000, got a card like this. We could not send these by normal mail, right? If we would have sent this by snail mail, then there would be a spreadsheet where it says, Bahnhofstraße 3 is Mr. Wischmann. Uh, we don't want that. So it had to be really anonymous. So we couldn't send them by email because then we would have a match between an email address and a QR code. So these cards were distributed door to door, randomly within a neighborhood. We divided the municipality in 28 neighborhoods and generated pseudo random addresses in series per neighborhood. So this company got the commission to deliver all these cards with nice envelope, etc., randomly within a neighborhood, and we even encouraged the citizens to swap with their neighbor. If you get this card before you register and you want to swap it with your neighbor across the street, please do. Right? So you are sure we do not know which QR code belongs to which house. It's untraceable even for me. Now, even the QR code cannot be calculated backwards to in which neighborhood you live, right? We have all these different neighborhoods because when people provide the answers, we want to aggregate them per neighborhood and know how many solar panels are in neighborhood A and how many solar panels are in neighborhood B, for instance. Right? We have to generate the series again when we see the answers and say, okay, this answer belongs to neighborhood E, for instance. right? So privacy by design was very important, because yeah, people already know that they're giving away too much information to Mr. Zuckerberg and Google, etc. Okay, this is how it works. I'm not going to in-depth technical information, but so you have an oversight of how it functions. Now here you see a house. Every house got a QR code, and this QR code is a wallet. And this is might be a nice detail also. So the wallet is not connected to a person. The wallet is connected to a house. Technically speaking, the house is the owner of the wallet, and only the people living in it, okay, they have to provide the answers, right? But when you move, you leave your wallet behind. Now every wallet contains data and coins. The data is based upon the answers people give to questions. Do you have solar panels? Do you have a heat pump? Do you have double glazing, floor isolation, etc.? There were 27 questions you could answer in 3 minutes. And the first two questions were, for instance, do you live in a rental or have you bought your own house? And the second question was, do you live with one, two, or two plus people? Right. And if you have answered those two questions, you already got €5. Right. So there were 3 blocks of 8 questions where we, for instance, asked, do you switch off your television set in the evening or do you leave it on standby? Right? Or do you close your curtains at night? And behind every question, there was an information button. And that information button would tell you why we asked the question. For instance, do you close the curtain? If you would press the I button, the information button, then it would say, well, because if you close your curtains, that would save you around 4% on your yearly heating costs. Right, so every question had some explanation and to increase the awareness of the people using it. Now, if people provided all the answers, they could press a button to send the information to the municipality. Over the Tangle, the information would be sent to the municipality. And where people are used to sending all their information to Mr. Zuckerberg and never seeing anything of it again, and Mr. Zuckerberg is getting rich, here it was a little bit different. When you send the information to the municipality, you get rewarded. You get rewarded in points, and the total number of points had a value of €50. So you got these points in your wallet, these coins, and I'm switching between points and coins a little bit because officially it's very tricky to call them coins. So we like to tell points. If I speak to an audience which doesn't have any knowledge about distributed ledgers, and I mention coins, they think Bitcoin. So we want to avoid that. So if we are talking about points, they think about Chibo and saving points to buy a new coffee machine, etc. So that's a completely different mindset. So they get these points in their wallet, and with that wallet, they can go to a hardware store. Now, these hardware stores in Emmen were a number of 10, 11, 12 of them. They all participated, and they had the same app, but only it was activated with a different QR code. And that QR code enabled the same app to act as a pin machine, right? So these people went to the hardware store, selected some goods, energy saving measures, and then went to the cashier and wanted to pay, and they could pay with the points they have in their EnergieKnip. So the retailer put in the number and showed the QR code to the resident. They scanned that QR code from the phone, and it would say, "Do you want to pay €50 to Gamma?" And you would say yes. That's the only thing you have to do. Then the transaction would happen on the Tangle. It would say success on both the telephone screens, and the points would be in the wallet of the retailer. The people could take their stuff home, install it, and lower their energy bills. Now, this might seem as a very minor thing, but especially the people who are, let's say, on minimum income, they used to have a method where they would have to pay for the energy saving measures, then take the receipt, send it to the municipality with their voucher, and then the municipality would send the money to their bank account. Now, um, some people don't have 50 euros to pay up front, right? So even the people living on minimum could pay with the points they have in their wallet and get their energy saving measures. Now, so the points are in the wallet of the retailers. Now, every evening at 10 o'clock, a little process on our server starts, and he looks at all these wallets of the retailers. And if they have points in it, he can exchange them for real euros. So then the points are sent back to the municipality, and then real money from the real world is sent from the bank account of the municipality to the bank account of the retailer, right? So there's an exchange rate. It's a stable coin, obviously, right? So if there are 1,000 points going to the municipality, then 1,000 euros would go to the store. Now, it's either that on automatic pilot, or some of the retailers said, listen, I don't have to see EnergieKnip on every bank statement I have for the coming half year. Just do it every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. Right? Or if someone said, no, I just want to see the money if it's more than 10,000 euros. So we made a pay me button in the app where they could push it themselves and request payment of their outstanding balance. It's as simple as that. This is called circular money, right? I'll come back to that later on. This principle, we're going to use that in a number of apps that I'll show you. Yeah, well, these were the results, right? In 2021, the municipality used paper vouchers, which they send to every address in Emmen. So these 50,000, and only 16% of the budget was claimed. 16% over a period of 7 months. People had these vouchers at home, laying there on their shelves. The municipality even sent 3 more letters. People, you have these vouchers. Use them. Buy energy saving measures. But only 16% of the money was claimed in 7 months. And don't get me wrong, I mean, one letter to 50,000 homes uh, costs 20,000 euros, right? So they even threw in 60,000 euros on communication, and still only 16% of the budget was claimed. Now, we we did EnergieKnip in January 22, more than a year ago. On the 11th of January, we sent out the first QR code. 13 days later, on January 24th, 100% of the budget was claimed. Right, so it was a huge success. It really started buzzing. People were calling the municipality. My brother got the QR code and I didn't. Right? Yeah, well, that's because of the mailman cannot be at the same day in every neighborhood, right? So yeah, people were really anxious to work with it, and it was very simple. One thing we also saw is there was one of the retailers who did this full service. Said, listen, if you are 88 years old and you don't know what to do with this QR code, just call us. We'll come to you with 2 phones, right? With one, we'll scan your QR code. We'll help you answering your questions. And with the other one, we will use it as a pin machine. You select what you want to have. We'll get it from the car, and we will cash the money and go home. Right? Full service. That was also the retailer who made the most money. Right? So of course, there were people who are having problem using smartphones, etc., but they were helped in different ways. For instance, the public library was doing sessions for people who didn't know what to do. Come to us, we'll help you. Right. So it was a huge success, and the municipality of Emmen doubled the money. They put another 150,000 in, and that money was claimed in 11 days. So yeah, it was a nice story to tell. And it is what we call a win-win situation. So the citizens get 50 euros of money for buying energy saving measures, and they get energy awareness. The municipality gets a very cheap and efficient way to distribute a subsidy. and they get lots of data. Right, in the end, 9,500 questionnaires were filled. 9,500 families gave their opinion about how they use energy. Now, as a third, the retailers were very happy. They were smiling ear to ear because they got extra revenue. And don't forget, this was the end of the Corona pandemic. They could use the revenue and the new clients. Now, and of course, why we all did this is the environment, right? There were lots of energy saving measures installed, so lots of energy saved, right? So win-win, win-win situation. Everybody happy about this system. Now, um, you probably have heard about this, right? The IOTA Foundation wrote about this. We got in the news, even in Chinese, and I put it through Google Translate. It was positive, believe me. So we got a lot of publicity. I even got a call from Al Jazeera English. We would like to talk to you about this blockchain-driven energy project. Yeah, right. I thought I was pranked by some some friend or whatever, but it was really Kim Vanel trying to contact us. Um, so there was lots and lots of publicity about this project, which helped a lot. And don't get me wrong, it's not the publicity about EnergieKnip, but is also the publicity about using blockchain in real life, right? Because when this works, other projects are having a lower threshold to be accepted by municipalities and companies. Um, I just want to shortly talk about money, right? Because this money that the Energy Knip distributed could only be used for buying energy saving measures. It was purpose bound money, earmarked money, right? You see people doing that by themselves, huh? Retirement money, house, vacation, college, money for buying groceries, etc. So it built on that, having one purpose for these coins, these points. And that was also the basis for other projects we did. Um, um, I'll tell you about this. So there is a difference between different kinds of money. So Energy Knip uses earmark money, circular money, right? Like I said, it can only be spent on one purpose, and there is no transfer between citizens. It's only the circle with the municipality and the retailers. Um, that's different from digital community currencies, right? Digital community currencies are what I would say parallel money from what we have in our wallets from the bank, right? They are only alternative monies. Let me press a few buttons and try to explain that differently. Wait, not that. I'll do it there. So what we did was circular money, where we have the municipality, we have the citizens, and we have the retailers, and the money does this. Now, if I would have a system where we would have money exchange between citizens themselves, paying them for whatever business you want to, or the retailers ordering money and exchanging money in that way, that is a digital community currency. All right. Um, this is 10 times harder to do. Of course, I talked to our national bank. Circular money is okay as long as you got collateral. Um, Exchanging money between citizens or between retailers will make it possible to do money laundering and terrorist financing, things they are not liking very much. So we only do this, we don't do that. Right? Okay, back to where I was. So there is a very distinct difference between that. Now, building on the success of EnergyKnip, the municipality of Heerlen came to us and said, "Listen, we've got 1,000 employees, and they got some employee benefits. They get 200 euros a year, which they can spend on themselves, right? Go to lunch with colleagues, buy flowers for their wife, There's a menu of things they can do with that money. Could that be done with a knip, a wallet like you did for EnergieKnip? So of course we said yes, and then we started thinking about how we how we would build that, and we made programmable money. And programmable money, it goes a little bit further than what we did in EnergieKnip, and it goes much further. Programmable money is a big discussion at the moment from the standpoint of the digital euro. CBDCs should not and never be programmable, etc. We're doing exactly the opposite. Programmable money has large benefits, and when you think about it, nearly 95% of all the money we have in our pockets is conditional. I mean, you get paid at the end of the month, um, under the condition that you did some work for the boss, for his firm, and nearly all our money is conditional. Why not should this money also be conditional? So we designed a wallet, and I designed a few rules in there because the municipality wanted them to spend the money, right? Not keep it in there. Use it on yourself, right? It's for benefits. Now you can do that in two ways. I can give you 50 euros and say, hey, if you don't use it, I'll take it back. That's not gonna make you very popular, right? It's 100% taxes on when you don't use the money. So I turned it around a little bit. I designed rules into the money that you can take the money from this quarter. You get 50 euros every quarter from this quarter into the next quarter. But if you don't spend it in the next quarter, you will not get anything extra. If you don't use it, you don't need anything extra. So you get 50 in the next quarter, you get 50 again. But if at the end of the second quarter there's still 100 in your account, then you will not get a third time 50 euros. But if you have spent 20 euros, you'll get 20 extra. If you have spent 40 euros, you will get 40 extra, with a maximum of 50. So it is stimulating people to use the coins to buy these flowers and go to lunch with their colleagues, etc. Because it's programmable, right? And you will see that feature of programmable money in other products we do also. Now that was a huge success. Here you see what the app looks like when you're an employee and what the app looks like when you're a retailer. It's the same app. It's only activated with a different QR code. It's called the Vitality Knip, the Vitality Wallet. Uh, um, it has nothing to do with going to the fitness school or whatever. It's just like vacation days. It's employee benefits you could use to de-stress a little, so to speak. Well, because of the success of that Vitality Knip and the Energy Knip, there was a somewhat larger project we did. I don't know how it's in your country. I see the viewers are mostly German, but also other countries. We got a big problem with energy prices, and some prices tripled or even more. And especially people who are living on a minimum income could not pay their energy bill anymore. Right. So the government set aside a few hundred million euros to help these people, and they gave this money to the municipality. Um, Look to it that this gets to the to the best place possible without telling them how to do it, and that's where seven municipalities in the south of the Netherlands came to us and said, "Listen, can we not use this energy knip to distribute that money?" And of course, we said yes. Like I told you before, first we say yes, and then we're going to think about it how we're going to do this. So we made a wallet, uh, um, pretty much similar at EnergieKnip, but without the questions and a few other things. And we distributed more than 5 million euros to 20,000 families as relief money for energy poverty. These people were in real trouble, and they needed to have that money as fast as possible. Now, normally, if you would do that by bank, it would be a very, yeah, tedious administrative process. Plus, if I give you 250 euros, as relief money. Some people spend a weekend in Paris, yeah, or buy a new television set, so my electricity bill wouldn't go down; it would go up. Right. So no, this is money which they could go to a hardware store and only spend on lowering their energy bill. So that's what we did, and it was such a big success that nearly 70% of all people participated, and that is a big success because normally in that target group, right, people who are on minimum who get an official letter from the municipality, they are likely to throw it away because they know from experience not much comes from that, right? It's probably some official letter that I don't want to know of. Now, more than 65, 68% of the people responded and used actively our Parkstad Energy for buying stuff. And it was at the hardware stores that they arranged for separate cash registers where people could come in and pay with their EnergieKnip. It was a huge success. This is a picture from, I believe, Hornbach, where they had a separate cash register. It was such a huge success that a building incorporation said, "Listen, we got 1,500 houses in that area, and only half of them got a QR code because they're living on minimum. The other half didn't receive a QR code because they have too high of an income. But still, we would like these other people to increase the energy efficiency of their house also. Where can we put the money so they will receive a QR code also?" And that's what we did. So we generated 750 QR codes extra for these people who got the money from the housing corporation. So that was the first time where a private company participated in a project like this. Now, what are we currently working on? What are we currently using? We for these projects I mentioned, we're using a private tangle, a private chrysalis tangle, and the reason for that is very simple. GDPR rules. Privacy on a mainnet is somewhat problematic. All right, you all know about distributed ledgers and immutability and transparency, etc. And it clashes with general data protection regulations. For instance, the right to be forgotten is very hard to implement on blockchain. Now, we can do that. There are some tricks with special encryption and keys, etc. But it's very hard to convince an employee from a municipality that you are getting this done on a public mainnet. Now, if you're doing this on a private network, then the threshold is a little bit lower, right? So that was one of the reasons. The second reason is we use Chrysalis and not Shimmer yet because we have to have on a production network. Right? We heard Dom speaking about changes coming up and layer one changes. Now, if you have millions of euros parked on that chain, you wouldn't want to talk to customers about breaking changes, right? And the last reason is we cannot lose data. So we don't want to have pruning of data. We need a permanode, and in our private tangle, we have a permanode. We're using that at the moment because of these reasons. Now, when Shimmer goes in production and IOTA 2.0, etc., my life becomes a lot easier, right? Then we have native digital assets, so I can make a number of coins as much as I want. Storage, no problem, because for a small amount of coins, I can have permanent storage. I can have smart contracts. Now I had to write my own smart contract technology on Chrysalis, right? And this I have to maintain because it's a private tangle. That I don't really have to do a lot of things. I can have a fraction of the maintenance that I have now because the infrastructure is already there. So yes, we would like to change to the next generation of networks as soon as possible, as soon as we can convince our customers that it is stable enough. Now, in the future, what are we doing? What are we working on at this moment? Now we're taking this earmarked money to the next level, and it is a bit inspired by this. This is cafe sospeso. This is what you will find in Italy when you go into a coffee bar. You can buy two coffees and drink one by yourself, and the other one they will put a post-it on a board like this. And somebody who comes in and says, "Hey, listen, I'm a bit in a rough patch. Is there any coffee on the board?" Right? And he takes off a post-it and gives that person the coffee. Those post-its are asset-backed stablecoins, right? They are asset-backed by a coffee, cappuccino or ristretto or whatever. Now, if you combine that with this, my grandmother had earmarked money. This is a piggy bank for earmarking money for groceries, for clothing, for energy, etc. Right? So if we combine those two ideas, you get this. You get multi-knip, a multi-asset wallet for products and services. And you have purpose-bound money for lots of different applications, right? You can use it in the social domain, for health, for tourism, etc. At the moment, we are working on a project where the municipality of Groningen wants to use these wallets to help entrepreneurs become more sustainable. So you will get a coin which you can pay for an electric charging pole for your electric vehicles, right? They as the municipality gives you that coin, they also show you can spend this coin at those five companies to buy a charging pole. They have planned coins to make the roof of these office buildings greener. They go to the entrepreneurs and, okay, you got 500 square meters of a roof. Okay, you will get 500 coins for installing a green roof, and you can go to these five different companies that will do that for you, and you can pay with these coins, and we will pay that company. So there are thousands of use cases you can use this for. And we're currently working on that, and we are expecting to roll this out in real life in July, August to all the customers. So, where you say, well, there is a lack of use cases, and I see that when I'm talking about to provinces, governmental bodies, municipalities, and say, okay, we have a blockchain development company, we can help you. They don't know what to do, especially municipalities, because um, uh, municipalities and governmental bodies are the most centralized organizations on the planet, right? If you look at land registry, if you look at vehicle registration, etc., it's all centralized, and they still have to flip the switch of how you could use a decentralized system. Now, if you have a wallet like this, you could use it for all kinds of stuff. You could give tourists a wallet with when they visit your city, they could get a few drinks. You could do so many use cases with this. Okay, now I could talk about this for hours, and sometimes I do. There is another one of the quotes which I live by, right? It means what we build, what we can do with blockchain is only limited by our imagination, right? Don't tell me the sky is the limit when there are footprints on the moon. We can do so many things with blockchain, with the IOTA protocol, and whatsoever, that it's hard to start working on. But that's what I urge you to do. Like Nike said, just do it, right? Start gathering experience today, start building today, and see where it gets you. And maybe in a few months, you will have 30,000 users. Who knows? Use the LinkedIn QR code if you want to connect to me, or if you have any other questions, use my email address, and I will try to answer them. I have some time, I believe, 2 or 3 minutes for questions. Let me see in the chat. I don't see any. Is that correct? So either this was very enlightening, or you're all sitting there waiting for lunch. But let's see. Well, if there are not any questions, then I would say I hope to meet you in person without having the flu and with another voice than this Barry White voice. And then we might discuss your use case.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I think we still have 5 minutes or so left before we will head over to the next one. Just props to you, first of all. I really loved the presentation, the way you presented it with even the camera of the little, how do you call it, where you draw your diagram
Oh yeah,
on.
yeah. I give a lot of I gave a lot of online colleges for university, and so I have a whole studio with all these knickknacks, and I can do lots of tricks for giving a presentation and explaining things to my students.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect. I really enjoyed listening to the talk. I don't think that we have any questions from the audience, but I have still one or two maybe
Okay,
that I want to touch on.
shoot.
Um, I love the privacy by design idea that you went with. I mean, it was such a unique way. I mean, even the mechanics on how you were distributing those QR codes to the neighborhoods. And I just wanted to ask, do you really think that the public conscience on privacy or the private data is different in the countries? Because at least in my opinion, or the way I see it here in Germany, is that everyone is ready to give out the data for free, basically, only to join some kind of project. Let's say the worst possible case is Facebook, Meta, or even TikTok, where they do
You're right.
whatever with your data.
Yeah, it's incredible. On Facebook, people share all kinds of information, right? They're going on a holiday, they're posting a picture. It's so nice here in Greece, right? I could post on my Facebook, burglars, please come and visit my address. I'm not home anyway, right? So on one hand, people are posting lots of stupid information on social media. On the other hand, they are very conscious about, hey, if I have a Gmail account, Google could read my mail. I don't want that, right? So that it's very ambivalent how they look at their privacy. People are getting more conscious about that, and it depends on the country also, right? If you, for instance, a very small thing, if you go to the United States and you stay in a hotel, they will give you a room key, right? And on the room key there will be the number 101, but you're not staying in 101. You're staying in 127, right? Just for in case that you lose your key, that nobody will go to 127. They will go and try to unlock room 101. It's such a small thing, but in Holland and in Germany, I've never seen that in a hotel, right? So
Same.
people,
It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
yeah, it's such a simple thing, right? People getting more conscious about data and what they share. We took great care of that. And even if you have the technology to really make it private, people have to understand it, right? I could talk about zero knowledge proof and homomorphic encryption all day, but people don't understand it. So that's why we did the QR code and said, hey, you can switch with your neighbor, right? People understand that, right? So that's how we could very simply get the message across that you cannot find the person belonging to the QR code.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can even see it in the way you have created the EnergieKnip app, right? You really try to keep the UI simple, maybe go the Apple approach, if I say so, and you really abstracted those concepts like cryptographic keys and so on, because it's at the end of the day, the mainstream user doesn't care about this, but he
Exactly.
wants to have the benefits of
Yeah,
that, right?
we even don't talk about blockchain, right? I mean, in this community where everybody is focused on blockchain, that might be something which makes them cringe. But people outside, when they hear about blockchain, when I say the word blockchain, they hear the word Bitcoin,
Yeah,
right? And they immediately think about something happened last weekend that was on the news, a scam or whatever. So within that Blink project, we stole this quote from the movie Fight Club. There's this quote: first rule of Fight Club: don't mention Fight Club. we did that. We said, first rule of blockchain: don't mention blockchain. Right? We're
Yeah.
not hiding. If somebody asks us, we can perfectly explain how it works. But you don't want to explain your grandmother that how blockchain and the Tangle works for that 50 euros.
You're exactly right. And I think that was a good note to end your keynote, because we have to unfortunately go to the next topic. But still, thank you very much, Adri, for your talk and your time. And hopefully we see us somewhere near in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.